Hi, today I will share with you some views on how systemic foresight practices can be organized to help your company to tap into broader health technology ecosystems. To understand the odds of your health technology startup, you may want to explore how user-driven policy and managerial decisions of various actors affect on the future outcomes. For instance, I have been lucky to participate in foresight exercises on the future of healthcare systems in Europe, which actually confront many well-known challenges in an economic environment of cost control and limited public expenditure. For instance, rising costs, an aging population, increasing demand for services, and a shortage of healthcare professionals. It is expected that the development of personal health systems within the e-health area is particularly significant for delivering home care and related services, such as remote monitoring and emergency responses to patients. The success of such complex systems depends on the interplay of people, organizations, and technology. Beyond the common connotation to anticipate the future, the term foresight has also a specific meaning for foresight practitioners, often quoted to refer to a systematic, participatory, future intelligence gathering and medium to long-term vision building process aimed at enabling present-day decisions and mobilizing joint actions. In other words, foresight is a structured process to engage with your stakeholders, to explore the future. It can thus help you position in the wider ecosystem, choose your key partners, and crystallize your value proposition for future markets. Foresight encourages stakeholders to join forces to achieve common goals rather than fighting with one another. Within the newly created networks, knowledge and new ideas flow more freely across borders, which is vital for innovation. A foresight culture means people are better prepared for both the positive and negative effects of given changes. So, how to go about organizing a foresight exercise? The European Commission Fallen Guide splits the foresight process in 7 different logical phases rather than chronological steps. Feedback loops are present across all of them. So, let's go through the phases one by one. First, feasibility. In this phase, with your key partners, you evaluate whether a foresight exercise is appropriate given the context and your objectives. Second, parameters. Once you have taken the formal decision to proceed, this is broadly speaking the design phase of the process, where the main structural decisions are discussed and taken. Third, scoping. After the basic decisions are taken, the further development of a coherent and more detailed design is necessary. 2 aspects define the scope of a foresight exercise: the choice of the topics to be dealt with and the perspective to be adopted to investigate these topics. Fourth, organization. Managing time, people, participants, communications, and most importantly, the learning process itself is at the core of the foresight exercise itself. Then fifth, we have methodology. Devising the methodology is effectively an element of the broader scoping phase. Sixth, we have management. Managing a foresight project means to apply the same rules of good project management as for any other project. And seventh, evaluation. Once the main tasks of the foresight exercise have been completed, follow-up activities are required to ensure that results are used effectively and all the knowledge acquired is shared. Okay, so Now, after having in mind the overall foresight process, let's say a few words about the foresight methodology. When deciding on the methods to be used, you will usually start from the objectives and outcomes you expect. In defining the methodology, we distinguish between the methodological framework, that is the backbone of the exercise, and the actual methods that populate it. In other words, the framework can be defined as a set and sequence of methods to generate, elicit, structure, synthesize, and capture the information at different stages of the process. An exercise might involve the following phases. First, a phase to understand the current situation. Let's call it diagnosis. Second, a phase to explore what can happen. Let's call that prognosis. And third, a phase to define recommendations about what can be done, and that could be a prescription. So finally, even if each foresight exercise is different, it is good to evaluate such activities to learn and identify examples of good practice, which can serve to inspire others to undertake or act upon foresight. My hunch is that foresight could indeed facilitate a number of existing lockings in the healthcare sector and help moving forward with more patient-centered care in general. Thanks for your attention. Truly appreciate it.